Hello everybody, in this video I have some mixed media scrapbooking to share with you with the Thompson's Craft Supplies design team using it's my first project with my August kit featuring the Mintay Day by Day collection. So I have just printed out a little photo that I will tell you about in a bit, and I'm just choosing a paper to have as my background. I went for this paper with like the outdoor stone stairs or whatever you want to call them, but just because the picture was outside and I didn't think that would work with like the paper with the door or the paper with that's clearly inside with a sofa, so decided to go with that. And I thought, because the staircase is at a slight angle, I would have my composition of the whole layout kind of following that line of the stairs, so kind of going from top right-ish down to bottom left. So I started off doing some stenciling with this AB Studio stencil from my kit and some distress crackle paste. I'm trying to do really patchy kind of stenciling, so you're not getting, you know, like a perfect shape. So I did set that aside to dry just because crackle paste does better when it dries naturally, but it only took maybe half an hour, not much longer than that. And while I waited for it to dry, I did a load of fussy cutting, which should be on screen but apparently isn't at the moment, but it'll show up at some point. I fussy cut some florals from one of like the floral pattern papers and a couple of bits from the elements paper, the bonus sheet, and I also fussy cut some vellum books which are from an AB Studio tracing paper set. But as I said, you'll see all that in a minute. I was just doing a little bit of light background stamping. I was using a a Kaisercraft texture stamp, there we go, of a grid pattern. And then here I'm using a Prima stamp, which is like kind of messy, scribbly writing. I'm using Stays on Stone Grey for that. And then I was playing around with elements to have, you know, as my base for all of my embellishments and stuff. And I tried those little flourishy pieces, as you may have noticed, those wooden pieces. But they just weren't right because I've kind of ended up doing quite a geometric kind of thing going on this layout with the stenciling and the stamping and stuff. So I found that round sort of scribbly frame thing. Now I believe this came in a previous kit from Thompson's Craft Supplies a long time ago. I think it was 3D printed. I think it was from the Scrap Lab, but I don't think they do them anymore. So, but anyways, yes, I thought that would look kind of good because it's not necessarily geometric, but it's kind of not flourishy at the same time, or it could work either way, I suppose. But anyways, I did just add a little bit of colour with some packaging technique, some splattering and moving it around with a water brush with Distress Oxide Spray in Tattered Rose, just because that colour goes really nicely, that sort of pinky peachy tone, which is the same kind of colour as the flowers on the paper. And then to back my photo, I traced the shape of that frame and then cut around it, distressing the edges, putting the Distress Oxide in Tattered Rose around that. I'm just going to continuously use that colour throughout this project, and then just stick that down on top with some 3D gloss gel. Then I'm going to add 2 layers of foam to that photo so it really stands out. And then I started playing around with some of my fussy cut pieces and trying to figure out like the rest of the composition of the page and where all the embellishments and elements and everything were going to go. But when I just started putting down the fussy cut pieces, I wasn't loving it. It didn't look right. It looked too flat, I suppose you could call it. You can just see me putting them down there, and it just looked it was meh. It doesn't actually look too bad on camera at the moment actually, but in person it wasn't right. As I said, it was just so flat and it just made me feel meh. So I thought I need some sort of 3D base to put all my embellishments on. So I found these wooden frames. They're from Simply Creative. I think they're called Christmas frames. Why they're called Christmas frames, I do not know, because there's nothing Christmassy about them. But anyway, so as you saw, I chose 3. I snapped one in half, and then I'm going to cover all of them with a layer of black gesso because there's kind of a slightly black and pink theme going on for this layout. So yeah, I'm just going to cover all of them with black gesso and use those as my 3D base for all the other embellishments. I think it just makes such a difference on the whole layout. I can't really explain it. It just looks more complete, more finished, like you've put more effort into it, which, you know, technically you have, but you know what I mean? In case anyone asks, I am using a mix of 3D gloss gel and glue gun to stick these down. Basically, I'm using the gel on the ones that are going to be completely flat, but on the the snapped pieces that are going to go over those, I needed those to like stick down immediately. Oh, sorry, I'm just fussy cutting an extra piece there. You can see I've got a pot of gesso and a pot of gloss gel to keep those things down. But yeah, with the snapped bits, I needed them to stick down immediately because they're having to sort of bend around the shape, sort of, so the one bit's going on top of a frame and then one bit's going straight down on the paper. So with the glue gun, you need that really quick adherence, I suppose you could call it, that you get with a glue gun, just in case people are going to go, why is she using gel for one thing and glue gun with another? And I think later on I even use tacky glue for something else. I don't know, most of the time it's more of a muscle memory thing. My brain just thinks this glue is better for that, and I just do it. Anyway, so now I'm just going to start sticking down all of my fussy cut embellishments. I've got a mix of florals and then like a pile of books, the vellum books that I told you about. I'm just putting one of those down now. There's also like some coffee cups and other images like that. So the photo basically was taken towards the start, I think, ish, of lockdown, maybe some point in April. I just me sitting outside reading a book. My cat was with me. I had a cup of coffee. It was like a really nice temperature outside. It was just one of those I am quite happy and satisfied moments. And I took a little picture, stuck it on the gram because that's what you do, and I thought this would just go quite nicely with this collection. And I'm making quite a feature out of all the books as well. So yes, I'm just building up all those embellishments around all of those black frames. As I said, going around the edges of everything with that tattered rose oxide. Just as I said, it goes really, really nicely with this whole collection. Then I'm going to add a few of these flowers. These are from Hobbycraft. They were cream, which was kind of okay with the theme, but I thought I would just, if I just kind of dip them in the ink pad and give them that sort of distressed feel, but also give them that kind of pink hue, that made them match just a little bit more. And then I wanted more flowers, so I pulled out these ones. These are from the range. The pack is like purple, I'd say black, it's not black, it's more of a very dark grey, and burgundy colour. So I've just pulled out some of these little mini black ones and I'm putting those down. Only one had a bead in the centre, a little gold bead, but I'm going to fix that later and do something else. And then I wanted to add some of these chipboard pieces, which are also from the Mintay Day by Day collection. I've got that one that says bookworm mode, which was a banner shape, but I wasn't loving that on the layout. It just didn't really match, so I've just chopped that banner shape off. A little one that says stay home, which is fairly obvious for a picture in lockdown, and then another one that says relax time or something like that. And then at this point I think I just took a break and stepped away from the layout for a little while. I think that often helps. I think I was feeling a little unsatisfied. It needed something extra. I didn't know what that extra thing was. So stepping away for a little while, just for like a half an hour tea break and a snack, or whatever. Just when you come back, you have a slightly different perspective. You're more likely to think of a different idea or something. So what I decided to do is my usual trick of mixing in micro beads with 3D gloss gel and sort of pasting them in little areas. You can do this with glitter, with bigger beads, with art stones, anything like that. I just found some black micro beads, which obviously, because there's so much black on this layout, I thought those would be perfect for that. I don't know, they just add a really nice little element. It gives it a slightly vintagey distressed feeling, as if it's also like almost a patina or something. But yeah, I just really, really like it. I then also started, I had only like 2 or 3 tiny little fussy cut flowers, and it was like, if I don't use them on the layout, they're going to go missing, so I might as well find somewhere on this layout to put them down. So I did. I'm then adding some white splatters. That is with Dina Wakley gloss spray in white, and then I wanted some black splatters as well, but the spray wasn't working because I am a massive numpty and I didn't put gesso on my page before I started. I keep forgetting to do that at the moment. I don't know why, but basically the black splatters just sunk into the page and you couldn't see them. So I decided to go with watered down black gesso, but as you may have noticed, as I pulled it out like from the pot, a big line went on my page and I was like, no, what have I done? So I tried to like blend it with my finger, thinking I could get away with that, but no, so I'm going to go back and fix that in a mo. I'm just here taking one of my art journals and just pasting on all that leftover watered down black gesso so it's not wasted. I'll use it in a future project eventually. So this is me trying to cover up that black smudge that I made. Sometimes these things don't bother me, sometimes they do. This time it was bothering me. So I tried some of the chipboard pieces, they weren't working, so I went to the 3x4 cutter parts, which is also where a couple of the fussy cut bits on the embellishments were from as well. There was this little notepad thing which I decided to cut out, and it's also one where the page is like slightly folding, so I sort of cut that shape as well. Went around the edges with the oxide. I added this little sticker that said "Our New Reality." I thought that would work. And I'm just using that as a journaling spot. I very rarely do journaling spots, especially on a mixed media layout, but this just, I think it worked. It explains the picture a bit more and it covers up that awful black smudge. So I just kind of, it's not really journaling, it says something like how to stay happy and lock down, and then like book, tick, cat, tick, garden, tick, you know, things like that. And yeah, I stamped the date and I stamped a little phrase on it, and I'm really, really happy with the way that turned out. So as Bob Ross would say, happy little accident. Then I'm adding some Nouveau drops. I'm adding vintage drops in black board or something, which is a matte finish. I added some gold to those little black flowers that didn't have centers, but then once I'd added that gold, there needed to be more gold, so I added some stone drops in Gold Rush. And then I just finished off doing little doodly borders around that journaling spot and the little chipboard sticker on top of it. And there we go, layout is complete. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Thompson's Craft Supplies links will be in the description box, as they always are, and as well as some other things that I might have used. There will be a corresponding blog post if you want to see the pictures in more detail. They're the same pictures that will be on the screen now, but if you just wanted to look at them for more detail or something you missed or whatever, that will be on the blog post, as well as the links as well. I am getting rambly again. It's still very, very hot, so I'm going to shut up and go. Thank you, as I said, so much for watching. Please leave me a thumbs up, talk to me down in the comments. I really appreciate it. And now is very much time for me to go. Okay, yes, going. Bye-bye!